Gabby here, and today I'm trying like a different style of editing these videos. Instead of just doing like a speed build, I kind of wanted to do it a little bit more, maybe like a let's play or play Animal Crossing with me, I guess. But I thought I would just kind of go through like, maybe, I don't know, this was from one day that I was playing just Animal Crossing. I just had my Switch connected to my computer in case if I was gonna maybe make something really cool. And I do like the area I built a lot. I've not known what to do with my beaches, and I made a really cute little like crafting area, I guess I would call it, on my beach. So we're gonna go through that. And oh my goodness, don't even get me started. I've been trying to grow a blue rose for months. Still can't do it. I've been trying for months. So right now I'm just kind of moving around some things, planting some flowers, you know, chill stuff. What I kind of want to talk about, I guess, I don't know if this is like super interesting. Oh, I also built a fishing area. That's another thing I've wanted to do. So there's this cute little fishing area I am building on this rock because I love the little tents, okay? I'm trying to use them as much as possible because I think they're the cutest item in the game, okay? Let me enjoy my tiny little tent. Anyway, though, what I wanted to talk about, because I've been thinking about it a lot, I have been thinking about getting a third pet, which probably sounds ridiculous, but as you may know, I have a cat named Genevieve. She's a black cat. She's very, very sweet. And I have a crested gecko named Pluto. Maybe I'll insert photos of both of them in this video, or if you just go and hop over to my Instagram, I'm usually posting them in my Instagram story because they're both so cute. And I didn't really grow up having a lot of pets. I would take care of like neighborhood strays a lot. Like, I would take care, there was always this stray cat that lived in our neighborhood that I would go feed and play with because I wasn't allowed to have pets at the first home we lived in. I had a fish growing up, and that was a whole traumatic experience. I'll even tell you the story because I think it's that funny a story. I had gotten this betta fish when I was like 5 years old. My dad decided to take me to a pet store and let me pick what I wanted. And every time we would go, I would always want a bird. I would bring like, I think back then, like a bird from like a pet store. Not that I support shopping at pet stores now for animals, but when I was a child, I didn't know better. I would bring like $18 in cash to buy a bird because I think that's how much like a parakeet used to cost, which is crazy because that's like so cheap back then. But my dad was like, nope, you can't get a bird, you'll get a fish. And so I picked out this like multicolored betta fish. It was like blue and black and red. It was super pretty. And we got everything for it. And we bring it home, and like 3 days later, my parents tell me that the fish is shedding its scales, which as a 5-year-old, I fully believed that. Turns out that the fish had passed away within the 3 days that we had it. Because if you did not know, betta fish from pet stores are usually in pretty bad shape to begin with. So don't get one from there. Get one from a breeder. Be responsible. But so my parents went out and got another betta fish that was a different color. And they were like, oh, it changed color after it shed. And again, as a 5-year-old, I believed that. And so apparently until like the age of like, I think like for 5 years, my parents had actually replaced that betta fish several times. And several of my family members were in on this. So basically, if we ever left the fish for my grandparents to take care of, they knew that if the fish passed away, they had to go buy another fish. And so when I was 10, whatever number of betta fish we were at this point, decided to jump out of the tank and just died on the floor. And so my parents at this point finally tell me that the fish has died. And I remember being so incredibly upset. I was heartbroken because I loved this fish. I loved watching the fish. I loved feeding the fish. I loved buying new things for the fish's tank. I liked cleaning the tank. I was very invested in this fish. And so when this officially happened, that I found out that my fish had died, I was incredibly heartbroken. And about 2 years later, because we got Genevieve when I was 12. Well, so we were planning to get a different cat actually when I was 11 from a rescue, but the cat unfortunately was so sick that we couldn't take her home. So I was very upset. Very, very heartbroken once again. This cat was so cute. She was a calico cat, and her name was Lulu, and I was obsessed with her. She was so sweet. But we did not get Lulu. Lulu did get adopted, though, but we just didn't get to get Lulu at the time. Mainly because I don't think we could really afford a lot of the medical bills that she had. She was a very sick cat, which was really upsetting. But yeah, so we get Genevieve when I was 12. So Genevieve this year is 10, which is crazy to think about. We adopted her from a shelter, and she is the sweetest little cat. She is the biggest baby. Like, she is the tiniest little cat. She never really grew at all. But she is such a baby and is such a sweetie, but also only to me. She doesn't really like other people. She's kind of scared of people, but I'm hoping to socialize her a little bit better, even though she's 10. But like, I think she warms up to people. It just takes a while. Anyways, though, so about this fish, when I was about, I want to say like 14 or 15, we were at some like family event, and someone asked my parents, "Oh, are you still replacing the fish?" Which, to that, I was like, "What do you mean replacing the fish?" And my parents were like, "Shush, shh, she doesn't know, Gabby doesn't know." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And they were like, "Okay, we'll finally tell you." And they tell me about how many times they replaced my fish. And I look at them and I'm like, for the amount of times you replaced the fish, and probably the amount of money we spent replacing the fish, we could have gotten me a bird, or like a dog, or a cat, or something. But, oh my goodness, it was the funniest thing not funny, but like, I was so upset when I found out that it wasn't the same fish all along. I really genuinely thought it was the same fish that I had for 5 years. Maybe that's secretly why I have not gotten a fish since. Maybe I'm scared to get another fish. Who knows? I would like to have a fish, but I'm kind of scared that my cat might try to eat my fish. That's a genuine fear of mine. But yes, as to me thinking about getting a third pet, I got Pluto, my crested gecko, 3 years ago. And so now he's like full-grown, adult-sized crested gecko. And I have considered for like months, and by months I basically mean like this whole pandemic, I've considered adopting another pet, but I've not been able to decide what, because I obviously don't want to get something that I can't really take care of. So I don't really want to get like a dog at the moment. I feel like that would just be really ridiculous to go get a dog right now. And I don't know how well Genevieve would do with another cat. even though I would love to have another cat, I don't know if she would really get along with another cat because she's so like dependent on me. I don't know if she would like me taking care of another cat. So I've considered a few different things. And we'll go in order of most likely to least likely. Most likely would probably be another crested gecko or some sort of small reptile. I've considered a gargoyle gecko because I think those are super cute. I've also thought about getting anoles. I hope I'm like pronouncing that right. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, anoles are like those little green lizards that with like the pink neck fan. I had those for a while growing up. That was probably the only other pet I had growing up of like my own. And I had 2 of them and I loved them. Fun story about those as well. I technically snuck them in to my home without my parents knowing because that's how badly I wanted a pet, truly. I think I was probably 6 or 7. No, probably 7 or 8, actually. And for a class pet, we had 6 anole lizards in like a huge tank. And, you know, it was like a class pet. So like every few weeks, like it would change around like who got to take care of it and blah, blah, blah. And so my 2nd grade teacher, when she was retiring, said that she wanted her students to adopt the lizards and that if our parents said it was okay, we could take 2 of them home. And I immediately was like, oh yeah, my parents would be fine with it. And bless this teacher for not even questioning 7 or 8-year-old Gabby for saying this, because she was like, okay, sure, you could take 2 of them home. And so I take them home. She gave me like a little travel cage for them, and gave me some food and this and that, and I had all my little setup, but I still definitely needed to go to a pet store, which I knew. And so I brought them home and I hid them in my bedroom in the travel cage because I still had to ask my parents to take me to a pet store because I was 8 years old and even now I don't know how to drive, so I had no way to get to a pet store. And so I remember my mom came home after picking up my brother from school and I was like, look what I brought home. And she was like, what is this? Are you like taking care of them? Like she thought it was like a temporary thing. And I was like, nope, these are mine. My teacher said I can have them. And she was like, can you bring them back? I'm like, no. And so in a weird turn of events, my parents agreed to let me keep them. And we went to the pet store and bought them a tank and everything. And I had them for a few years. They were really cool. I really do recommend them as like a good beginner reptile because they're very easy to take care of. I like reptiles. I don't know if that's weird. Like, I feel like a lot of people when they're like, oh, I want to get a pet. I want a dog. Which, like, me too. But I really enjoy reptiles and like other like strange pets, I guess. Like, unrealistically, I've really wanted a hamster recently. Like, never had a rodent as a pet. But like, really want a hamster recently. What else would I want? I also want a ferret, but ferrets are so much work. They need so much space, and you really need 2 of them minimum in order for them to be like well off. So, probably not getting a ferret as much as I would love to get a ferret. Believe me, that's been like one of the top dream pets for years. Or a chinchilla. Ooh, I would love a chinchilla. Way too much. But yeah, no, I'd say realistically, the most likely of a new pet that I would get would probably be some sort of small reptile. I do really want a snake at some point, but I just don't really know enough yet really about snakes to feel like I could get one. But what do you think? What do you have as pets? Like, what animals do you have? Or if you don't have a pet, let me know what you would want to have as a pet. I'm curious. But here's this little like crafting area that I built while I was playing one day. You know, it's like a little bonsai making area, and then like a little pottery and crafting area. And then here's just a little walkthrough of like the beach, how I moved those things over. I still need to figure out what to put over where this originally was on my beach, but thought I would just share this little area too. And then that fishing spot I think is so cute. Very, very happy with this cute little fishing spot. Like, I know I was not aiming for that fish. Before someone in the comments is like, Gabby, you missed that fish. But anyways, thank you all for watching this like slightly different Animal Crossing video, I guess. If you liked this, or if you would rather see like the speed builds, how I've typically done them, please let me know in the comments. I'm interested to hear what you think. Also, if you like this video and want to see more Animal Crossing videos, please leave a like and leave a comment as well so I know. Because even though I like making these videos, I've like accepted that they don't do as well as like my typical like cosplay, anime, fashion related videos. So I'm just interested in those of you that watch these videos, what you really think about them. So I'd appreciate that kind of feedback. And yeah, I think that's everything. I think that's all I got. Yeah, see you in my next video. Bye.